Hi everyone, it's Michael here again from Tullow Area School Completion Programme. This is video 3, or session 2 of our transitions programme, our programme covering moving from 6th class to 1st year. Hopefully at this stage you've had a chance to look at our introductory video which explains the whole programme and why we're doing this, and our session 1 video, or the second video that we produced, which is about how to deal with change. So this video is all about helpful and unhelpful thoughts and how we can potentially change unhelpful thoughts and make them a little bit more helpful, which can help us then to feel a bit better about ourselves. Like the other sessions, I just suggest that you make sure you have a pen and paper handy so that you can write stuff down, or if you think of any questions as you go, that you have a chance to kind of stick them down as well. And like we've said in all the other videos as well, we have an email address that we'll put up at the end. So if you're watching this video during term time, basically we will try, you can send your questions to your teacher and we will try and organize a questions and answer session with your teacher. Your teacher will try and organize that for you. And if you're watching this video maybe during the summer holidays or after school finishes, then basically the email address that we give at the end, you can use that and you can get your parent to send in a question to us, or like that, if you have your parents' permission, you can send one in yourself, and then we will email you back and tell you about how we're going to go about answering that question for you. Okay, so I'm just going to move on then with this session. So what we're going to look at today is helpful, or in this video is helpful and unhelpful thoughts. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is when we're talking about thoughts, it's really important that we separate out what's the difference between a thought and a feeling. Sometimes we get the two mixed up. So a feeling is, or another word is an emotion, are things like happy, sad, angry, scared, worried. There are emotions. Now the thoughts are basically the things that we normally associate with going on in our head, as in, oh, I'd like to do this, or I wonder what's happening later on, or whatever, something that we're thinking about. And those thoughts potentially can be helpful and unhelpful, and actually can be a lot more powerful, or can do a lot more than we think they can, either for good or for bad for us. So one of the things to know is that thoughts can increase or decrease an emotion. So basically, if I'm already feeling a little bit anxious, and then I start thinking about all the things that I have to be worried about, what's going to happen to my anxiety? It's going to get worse. If I'm just a little bit anxious and I start thinking about all the things that might help me get through that anxiety, it's going to drop. My anxiety is going to drop. The same as if I'm feeling happy. If I'm feeling really happy and next of all I start thinking about all this bad stuff and all these terrible things that are going to happen, oh, I forgot to do this, or I didn't do my homework, that's going to make my happiness get smaller. It's going to shrink. I'm going to be less happy. And if I'm happy and I'm thinking about all the things that I'm looking forward to, seeing my friends, or stuff that I'm going to do later on, or some nice food I'm going to eat, that's going to make my happiness get even bigger. I'm going to get more happier. So it's really important to remember that our thoughts can increase or decrease our emotions. So when we're thinking about thoughts, it's important to, or one way of looking at it, and if for any of you who have done the Friends program, Friends for Life program in school, you'll know what I'm talking about here. Okay, so it's really important to look at it in terms of traffic lights. So basically the three colors of the traffic lights, as you can see there, are red, green, and amber or orange or yellow, depending on where you're from or what you think. But anyway, it's that middle color, that amber color. Okay, so if we think about thoughts in these terms, the red thought is what we would call, or the red light refers to the red thought, which is the unhelpful thoughts. These are the thoughts that stop us from succeeding or doing well. These are the thoughts that hurt us or hurt somebody else. They're unhelpful. So these are the kind of thoughts like, I can't do that, I'm not going to be able to do that, or sure, there's no point going to that because it's, you know, I'm not going to enjoy it, or sure, what's the point of even playing the match, I'm going to lose anyway. They're the unhelpful thoughts because they stop us from doing well, from moving forward. They hurt us or hurt somebody else. The green thoughts then are the goal ones. They keep us moving. They're the helpful thoughts. So they're the ones that say, ah, sure, look, I'll give it a try and see what happens. Or, oh, I can't wait to see my friends later on. Or, look, we'll play the match anyway. We'll just play it play by play and see what happens. Okay, so they're the thoughts that keep us moving and keep us moving in a direction. They help us or help somebody else. And I suppose the amber ones then, and this is the one that slightly is different to what you might have looked at in the Friends program. But the job of the amber light really is to slow down. So these are the thoughts where we slow down everything that's happening in our head. And this is a great opportunity. We don't do a video in this series about relaxation, but this is a great opportunity to use whatever relaxation techniques that you have to slow everything down, to just slow down what you're thinking. Because normally when we're thinking unhelpful thoughts, they're coming at 100 miles an hour. They normally are the ones that will like be absolutely going like spinning in our head at any time. So we slow them all down and then we check the facts. We check whether these thoughts are helpful, unhelpful, or fact. So there it is, right? Again, sorry, the unhelpful thoughts, they hurt me or hurt someone else. They stop me doing things. They lead to unhelpful action. So generally an unhelpful thought will lead to me doing something unhelpful. So I'm never going to speak to my friend again because they annoyed me once or whatever. They cause the increase in the unhelpful emotions and body feelings, you know, sick stomachs, stress, anger, worry. They potentially lead to failure because we just don't want to even try. And very often are about the past or the future. So if you hear you're saying, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if the other happens? And you're a bit worried about it, that's more than likely an unhelpful thought. Or if you're looking back going, oh, if only I had done this and if only I had done that. Again, another good example of an unhelpful thought because there's nothing we can do about it because it's in the past. Helpful thoughts help me or help somebody else. They get me to move forward and try to make an effort to hope that things can change. They lead to helpful actions. They cause an increase in helpful emotions and body feelings and decrease the unhelpful ones. So we tend to feel less sick. We tend to feel a bit more energetic and happy when we're thinking helpful thoughts. And they generally lead to success. They keep us moving and they keep us doing things that lead us towards succeeding in whatever we're doing. And then the facts in the middle. The facts are neither bad nor good. They're just facts. This is a video that you're watching. That's a fact. Whether you like it or whether you hate it, it's still a video. So a fact exists right now. So a fact is something that right at this moment in time that exists, okay? Whether it existed earlier or late, or whether it will exist tomorrow, doesn't really matter. It exists right now, okay? There's evidence that proves that it exists. So somebody else or something else will back you up that this actually exists. And it's real, I suppose it's tangible. So it's something that other people, so let's say if I'm thinking, oh, everybody hates me, right? That's not necessarily a fact because I mightn't have any evidence of that. So unless other people can say, yeah, actually those 3 people do hate you because they've told you they hate you, well then that's a fact, that's different. But very often we go around thinking these things and they're actually not facts at all. So what I want you to do for a second maybe is think about when it comes to starting post-primary school or first year, and think maybe about particularly the helpful thoughts or unhelpful thoughts that you might be having around it. So let's say when we would go into your school, what we would do is we'd hand out a red card and a green card, and we'd ask you on the red card to write down something that you might be thinking about that's unhelpful. And then we would ask you on the green card to write down something that would be helpful. And what we'd normally do is put them all in a bucket and then read them out because you wouldn't know who was who at the top of the class. And I suppose the interesting thing is very often people are surprised to see how many people in their own class are actually worrying about the same things and looking forward to the same things. So unhelpful thoughts, you know, it could be like, will I make friends? Will I get lost? And helpful thoughts could be, I can't wait for the new subjects. I can't wait to start the big school. I can't wait for the longer holidays. There's lots of things of that. So just for a second, write down what 1 or 2 unhelpful thoughts that you might be having and 1 or 2 helpful thoughts that you might be having. So what I've done is I've come up with a few examples that you might have come up with yourself. So some unhelpful thoughts: I'm going to get lost. None of my friends would be in my class. I'm going to get bullied. I won't be able to keep up with the work. I won't know anyone. Teachers will be mean to me. I won't get picked for the sports team, whatever my favorite sport is. I won't get used to the timetable. I won't be able for it. And some helpful thoughts that people might be having is, I can't wait to make new friends. I'm really excited about starting a new subject, let's say woodwork or art. I'm looking forward to home economics. I'm looking forward to getting started. I can't wait to join new teams and clubs. I'm going to get on with everyone, including my new teachers. I'm going to get on well in my tests and exams. There are some examples of helpful thoughts. And I suppose in the middle of all of that, there are the facts. The bottom line is you're starting a new school in September. You're going to have a new uniform. The days are longer in school, but so are the summer holidays. You'll have new subjects. There'll be new people in your class, and there will be some people from your old school in your year in most cases. Not in every case, but in most cases. So a few things to remember. Always check to see if what you're thinking is a fact, or is it actually an unhelpful thought? Because a lot of the time we mix them up. We think that unhelpful thoughts are facts, and they're not. Human beings, believe it or not, tend to think the unhelpful thoughts first. We tend to jump to the unhelpful before we jump to the helpful thought. We often trick ourselves into thinking an unhelpful thought is a fact. If you have any relaxation techniques at all, it could be just going out kicking a ball, it could be drawing a picture, it could be taking a few deep breaths, it could be going for a walk, it could be doing a bit of baking. It doesn't matter what it is. Use them where you can to slow your thoughts down. If you can't think straight, people often say that. It feels like the brain is overloading. It means that you probably have a lot of thoughts spinning in your head at one time. That's what's often happening then when you can't think straight. And just remember, the thoughts are temporary. We can change them. So if you're thinking something, you can actually change that thought into something else. So it is possible for us to go, I'm going to get lost in the school all the time. And then we check the facts. So it's really important, if we want to change an unhelpful thought, we check the facts. But first of all, we have to look at it and recognize it's an unhelpful thought. And then we check the facts and go, well, hang on now, everybody in the school is probably going to be finding it hard to find their way around. And there's probably going to be maps and tours and all kinds of things that are going to help me with that. And you know what, I'll probably get used to the place after a while, because like other people I know that went to the school said, yeah, in the first few days they found it hard, but after a week or two or so, they got used to the place and they were able to find their way around. And then once we start checking the facts like that, then we can move to maybe a more helpful thought, which could be more along the lines of, you know what, maybe it won't be that bad. Maybe I won't get lost all the time. Maybe I will eventually be able to find my way around, or maybe I'll be able to find my way around in a few days, so that we can change the unhelpful thought to a helpful thought by looking at the facts and checking what they are. So that's the end of this video. And I suppose one of the things you can do is, first of all, write down a helpful thought and unhelpful thought, because we're going to use them for our next video, which is all about coping step plans and planning for change. Again, like we said before, you can send us an email, or your parent can send us an email at tullowscp@gmail.com if you have any questions, and we'll do our best to try and answer them. And our office, if your parent wants to contact our office or your guardian, they can contact us at 059 91 80010. So thanks a million again for watching. Make sure and write down that helpful and unhelpful thought. Make sure and get the other 2 videos watched as well. And I'll see you again for video 4, which is session 3, all about coping step plans and planning how to cope and manage change.